before you watch this video, I want you to know that I'm a piece of crap. My wife hates when I say it, but I actually don't have any resistance to negative ideas, and that gives me this weird sense of freedom. So, in order for me to prove that I'm actually worthwhile, I need to be able to prove it to myself. Say hi.
Hi.
I spent so much of my life where people were hyping me up and telling me all these great things that I should think about myself, and I couldn't resist it. After a while, I started believing it, and I started getting high on my own supply, as they say, and thinking that I really was this great, exceptional person. And I'm sure that that's a great strategy for, developing kids with confidence and self-esteem. Eventually, I started feeling like most of those compliments were empty and really just untrue. And I felt like they were untrue because there was no evidence to me for any of them. The fatal flaw that me and a lot of other people that had a similar upbringing was a lack of proof. And not even to anyone else, but just to yourself. So once you realize that some of those things aren't true, or all of those things aren't true, what are you supposed to believe about yourself then? I used to have a tagline for my brand that was nothing to hide, nothing to prove. And I thought that that was so sick. And really, it still is a pretty sick tagline, if I do say so myself. But over time, I realized that you do have someone to prove things to. You have to prove them to yourself. Otherwise, you don't really have a basis for believing the things that, quote unquote, you don't have to prove to anybody. You have to prove them to yourself. Otherwise, you don't believe them. They're just ideas. It is actually really important to prove things. Not to anyone else, but just to yourself. So I gave up on all the empty compliments and positive reinforcement. And instead of acting with a sense of ignorant entitlement that I had, that really got me nowhere, I had to find out what was real about myself and the world around me. And that's the thing. You gotta really wanna know yourself inside and out. You gotta really wanna know what's real, because it's not gonna be what anybody else has told you. And it's a little bit scary to fall into the uncertainty of not knowing who you are, but you'll be so much better off when you figure it out. This process requires you to figure out what you're made of. And I know that that's a cliche kind of thing to say, and I think that really we just need revelation in what exactly that means. So I wanted to break myself down to the lowest level possible and then figure out what's true, what the real me is like. And when you break yourself down and you dig and get rid of all the fluff and hype and all the great things that people have told you about yourself, all the preconceived notions that get piled on you, and they get piled on you to the point where you don't even really know yourself and the person that you are. And this is a fundamental step that gets skipped by a lot of people when it comes to the idea of self-awareness, where you have evidence for the things that you believe about yourself and the person that you are, because we get flooded with messages, and sometimes those messages don't allow us to dig and find out who we really are. And I think that there's something very important to be said about proving to yourself that you can do something hard, or that you can build something yourself, which a lot of times are things that people will tell you that you can do, but we need to learn how to earn our own respect as competent and capable agents of creation and change to take on that identity. And that only comes through action and repetition and practice. That's how you prove it to yourself. Obviously, now we live in this internet age where people are always waiting to doubt you left and right and talk shit about the things that you do. And that's just something that we all have to deal with. But the real way to get freedom from that is to prove it to yourself that you don't need approval from anyone else to do what you're gonna do anyway. But if you can't block doubt and insecurity from the people around you, how are you ever gonna overcome it in your own mind? If you don't do that, you'll always feel the need to stoop down and try to defend yourself against the stupid things that people say to you. So don't pander to any outside expectations for what people have of you. You need to earn your own respect, and then you'll be playing the game on your own terms, and thus you'll have a greater chance for success.